squeegee rubber isn't the only thing that you manufacture, right? I mean, that's not the only thing that you do. I mean, you manufacture other rubber-based products outside of this.
Everything is about rubber, but a lot of different products, yes.
Yeah, but not exclusive to the window cleaning industry. The window
No.
cleaning part of this is just a small fraction of what you do, correct?
It's getting a bigger fraction.
Bigger and
I have
bigger.
to
That's
say,
good. That's awesome.
no, I mean, like it started up to being really like a niche in our company.
Mm,
But the more I dig into it, the more interesting I found it. So that's also
right.
why, I mean, like we got more and more into it, and also developed for other companies because we suddenly got requests for that, and
Right.
yeah.
How old is Black Diamond squeegee rubber? How long have you been manufacturing Black Diamond squeegee rubber?
Since 2001.
Since 2001. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel that you have improved the product since the product's launch?
I'll say it this way: the first 7, 8 years, I wouldn't sell that shit to anybody, even if I hated them.
Right, right. So, I mean, I guess it's fair to say that what is on the shelves now and what it's been being like has become super popular now is a far superior product to what you initially started out with. So it's essentially a new and improved Black Diamond squeegee rubber, correct?
Correct. Yes, and we also do it. I mean, like even though we have the type we have right now, we constantly test new blends and stuff like that to figure out what will work the best.
Oh, okay. So
and even when we make for other companies, we never make a similar rubber. I mean, like the rubber we have as Black Diamond, you will never find it with any of our customers' rubber. We always make a special blend for each customer when we have a new order for that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So even though you know how to make this rubber or how to make that rubber, you still make Black Diamond rubber unique based on the feedback that you receive on your product.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because it would be very easy to go to that well and be like, well, we can manufacture what this guy's manufacturing. But you don't do that.
I mean, like, we try to approach it out for feedback. I mean, like when we talk to, I mean, like guys like you or whatever it is telling us this and that. I mean, I tried this rubber for a long time. I mean, like for instance, the whole Sorbo thing. I mean, going on right now where you can't get Sorbo rubbers. We in the beginning we only had the medium because that was the request we had in Europe.
Right.
Talking to several cleaners, telling me it didn't work for them. You know, it wasn't right. Didn't feel it was way too hard and stuff like that.
I was one of those people. I remember you and I discussing this.
Oh yeah, so we made the soft version, and we actually, as we speak, I mean, we're even trying an even softer version than the soft version we have right now, because some of our cleaners tell us, I mean, like when they do the deep frames, you know, they would like to be able to the rubber just to, I mean, like to lick the glass all the way down.
Right.
And if we make it softer than we have right now, we'll
be able to achieve that. Well, it's very, very close now to doing that.
It is, but we still have some of these guys who's been doing it for like 20, 25, 30 years.
I've been doing it 20 years. I've been cleaning windows 20 years.
But they come back and say it will be just be a little bit softer, you know. And it's like, I mean, we can basically make it any hardness they want, but it's also about, I mean, like, can it sell afterwards?
Right.
And if we introduce a very soft rubber, we also have people telling us, "Oh, well, it wears out too fast," you know.
Right.
Yeah, because it's super soft.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Will it be Black Diamond Super Soft? Is that what it's going to be?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Well, that's cool. So it's good to know that the product that I like, I mean, I've got the sticker over my head over here. Black Diamond's huge. I mean, you guys have been a sponsor of the podcast forever. But I've been buying your rubber way before any of that happened. I mean, I actually asked for a free sample of Black Diamond, and I want to say 2004 or 5 around there. So I've been using it about 17 years, 15 years, somewhere around in there I've been using it, or maybe longer. At first it was a cost thing. I was like, you know, what I do is I don't make a lot of, we clean windows, so it's not like we can charge millions of dollars to do what we do. So anywhere I can save a little bit of cash, I'm going to. And I'll be honest, the thing I thought was the coolest about it was the fact that it was stuck together. I was like, oh, I like that. So let me try this out. That's what got me intrigued in the first place. And I tried the medium.
We have rejects from customers receiving it saying they can't use it, doesn't fit into the channel, because they didn't know that.
That's great.
And the best thing is when they call in, and you just, just try and pull it apart, and you can just hear that. Oh,
right.
Thank you.
Well, let's get off of that and go to this. There's a lot of people out there I've seen on some of your advertisement and comments on, social media and Instagram and places like that, where people think that the tearing apart of the rubber gives it a bad surface to begin with. What do you say about that? In the nicest way possible.
The nicest way possible. That's not correct.
Right.
Every rubber we manufacture for us or for any of our customers in other brands, like private labels and stuff like that, they are all manufactured the same way. For some customers, they just want them pulled apart from the beginning, and we do that, of course, if that's how they want to pack and stuff like that. But they are all made the same way.
But that's the way.
Even some of our competitors have started making it this way too. We have seen that.
Right.
And
so, that's just how it's manufactured. The only difference is you don't take the time to separate it. You ship it together.
And we do that for a purpose.
Right.
That is to protect the edges until you use it. That gives so much, it makes so much sense to do it that way. Right. And the thing is, if you really open the rubber when you pull it apart and you take your phone, enlarge the edge of the rubber, you will see that the edges are completely sharp. It's only in the middle they have been attached. So we cut them with razor blades from both sides, and so you can pull it. And you would never use the end of the rubber on the glass. Right. But I've seen guys doing that, but that's because they don't know how to use it. Right. Because you always have that angle on the glass.
I don't think people realize the microscopic level in which a rubber is working on a glass. They don't realize that when you get down to the bare bones of it, even though you can't see it, there's only, just like with a car tire, there's only about the size of a penny that's actually contacting the road fully.
Yeah.
So,
and it should only be.
Yeah. So with that being said, there's a very small contact surface with squeegee rubber. It's very tiny. It's finite. You know what I mean? So that edge, when you pull it apart, that has no bearing on how it works on the glass. It's already cut for that. It's just being shipped together for purposes to keep that edge sharp. I think maybe people lose that. Now, I think there's a lot of guys out there that just go ahead.
And that's actually one of the most often comments we get. Oh, the rubber isn't. It doesn't slide on glass because I have to pull it apart. But when you get to people and you explain it to them, this is actually how it is. They kind of get it, and it's like, okay, so that's not what it is.
It's not a gimmick. It's not like trying to floss over something. That it just literally that's the way that it works.
It's the best way of manufacturing. That's the best way of making sure the rubber is lined up completely straight when you cut them. It's simply the best way of doing it.
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, if you're manufacturing millions of feet of something this wide, that doesn't make a lot of sense. It would make much more sense to manufacture millions of feet of something this wide, so you're getting double your production every time you're running it. Right?
Yeah, but it's basically because of when you want to cut them later on. That's where you get the advantage. So you can actually make sure you can line that double piece of rubber and cut it. That way you make sure the whole length is completely straight. If you ever tried that, Sorbo made a tool for where you could trim your own rubber down. Yeah. The idea is great, but it takes so much adjustment to make sure the rubber is completely aligned. Otherwise, you get you get curves instead of getting straight lines.
Right. That prevented me. That actually stopped me from buying one of those. I almost bought one. I was close.
Like
when I first started cleaning windows, the very first channel and handle that was ever put in my hand was a Sorbo handle and a Sorbo channel. That was with Sorbo rubber. That was the very first thing I ever cleaned a window with. The guy that trained me into window cleaning, he's the one that's all he used. You know what I mean? And they're great. I'm not saying there's anything. They're great. However, absolutely. I thought, well, maybe we'll save some money here and we'll buy one of these things. And I never got around to doing it. And now
you have to think about too. I mean, the time it cost you to align these rubbers and cut them back and forward. I mean, like, you can buy a new piece for like less than $1 if you want. I mean, like,
that's a fair statement, isn't it? It's like less than $1, isn't it, for a squeegee rubber, right? For a single rubber.
Yeah.
And you guys don't sell if you're buying a single Black Diamond rubber, you're getting two, whether you like it or not.
I don't know how WCR completely handles that. I think they actually, for the time being, actually sold them by singles. But yeah.
Well,
we have companies in Europe who are selling them by singles, especially in the UK and stuff like that, because people are like, I just need a piece of rubber today,
right.
Go and clean some windows,
right,
get my money in and buy a new one next day.
Right. So I guess my next natural question would be, are there special rubber trees or that you make your rubber out of, or does everybody just get rubber from a rubber tree and then they blend it the way that they want, or what is the case? How does that work? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can do that, of course. I mean, like, there's rubber trees all over the world where you have like a tropical climate. So you have like Malaysia, China, Thailand, South America. There's a lot of places where these trees grows. The best ones you get from Malaysia, and the thing is with that natural rubber is it's just like going down to the lumber store and buy a piece of wood. I mean, like, you can get these 2x4s, and they're all good, but when you look at them, this one is actually bending a little bit. This one is a little bit darker than this one, and that's how the liquid from the rubber trees are too.
Okay. So
when we manufacture when the liquid comes out of the trees, it's spent, in a huge machine to get the water out, and then it's transported, then it's blended and mixed, and then it's molded. But in that process, it's a huge thing, to keep the consistency in the raw material the same all the time, because you can't store it forever. Like, if you were making wine, you would probably like save, like 1/3 and use that for the next year's blend, so like you can keep on with the same. But you can't do it with this because the material will deteriorate before you can do that. So there is variations over time, and we have to, compromise from that in production, and also make sure that we get the same consistency in the products. And that's why, too, we give this 100% satisfaction guarantee, because we can't guarantee that every single rubber is the same, because we can't look into each molecule in the rubber to see if it's all right.
So really no rubber manufacturer that manufactures squeegee rubbers can give you a guarantee that the product is going to be the same every single time, can they?
Like, within a very tight tolerance.
A very tight tolerance, of course. Of course.
But you can't, if anybody tells me they can do that, then they're full of BS.
Yeah, okay.
But you see, there's a difference here. This is about natural rubber. If you buy it, natural rubber is an organic material, which, if you throw it out in nature, it will actually just dissolve over time, and there'll be no waste. If you use any of the color rubbers, like the green Unger, the blue Mormon, whatever it is, that's not a rubber. That's not a rubber. That's an artificial rubber. So that's made from oil. So you can basically say every time they make rubber like that, your gas price goes up because they use more oil for that.
So do you?
No.
So now I know you're being facetious there, but is there? Do you think there will be a time where that's where the window cleaning industry goes, is to an unnatural rubber? No. Now I have several channels right now in the truck that have green Unger rubber, and the Unger, whatever you want to call it.
Great rubber, by the way.
It works really well.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't glide as good as a natural rubber, but it does last quite a bit longer than any natural rubber does. I will say that. So if you can get past it not gliding like a natural rubber will, you'll like this stuff. However, it is very expensive, very expensive.
Yeah.
Now, is that so? I know.
I think. I mean, like it's a two-way string here because you get the longer lifespan out of it. That makes sense too. But I mean, now I'm in Europe, and European rules, are different. We have to sort every freaking piece of garbage we have. I mean, like plastic, metal, glass. Everything. We have like 7 bins in the kitchen.
Right.
And there's very strong regulations too on it. So unless start making systems where you actually can reuse the rubbers and they're getting returned, to the manufacturer, I think there will be issues going forward because every material is going to be looked through. I mean, going forward, how you can recycle them and how we can reuse them and stuff like that. I mean, we collect all rubbers that people want to return to us. We will even pay for the freight for it because we don't sell it. We give it away to what we call nursery homes, for plants and stuff like that. They use it to tie up the trees and stuff like that.
Oh, that is actually pretty. Yeah. That is an awesome idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah. Shit.
And what we can't use for that, we actually send to a regeneration factory who makes these playground mats for kids. Those rubber squares you can have on the playground.
Wow. Okay.
So that's used from recycled rubber as well.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool. Yeah. Now, not just to go back and touch on this again, and I don't know. I mean, if we can't talk about this, I'll remove it. But I know I tested some petroleum based rubber that you were moving forward with. Is that something that you've abandoned? Or
we actually made a really good one. We made the red ruby, we called it, and it was actually made on demand. That should be like it was. We were quite curious that it will actually work, and we don't think it worked. I mean, like we have people who bought it and been happy about it, but I know a lot of guys that want to go.
I know a lot of wagtail guys were liking the ruby red.
Yeah,
guys that like wagtail guys really liked it.
Yeah. But I don't see us going that way going forward.
Right.
We're gonna stick to the natural rubber because that's also where we know we have an advantage in the way we manufacture stuff. And again, not the time before that environmental thing kicks in.
Right.
Even this industry too. So we can spend a lot of money on developing something artificial rubber, petroleum based, and then we risk that it'll be switched around and can't be used again. Right. There can be issues there, and I think we have a natural product that actually works pretty good. It's pretty good priced, and why try to fix things that really works great already? And
why if it's not broke, why fix it?
I don't completely agree on that term in general because I mean, like you should always try to improve your product.
Right.
But when you have a natural product that really works and it's not harming anything and it's organic more or less, why?
Yeah, are rubber trees a finite resource?
If it's what do you mean by that?
Is it something that there's a concern that there's not enough rubber trees in the world?
No. You know what? It's kind of funny when you see through this inflation times we have right now. Usually price increase on everything in the world. I mean, I know we buy many tons of rubber every year. Even now, we still have the same price in the rubber. So that means there's no shortage of the rubber. There's no price increase for it. I know some of the competitors raise the prices because they say, well, electricity went up.
Right.
But it's such a small fraction. I mean, like we were considering it too, but it's such a small fraction of the rubber price. I mean, like, should I raise it 1 cent?
Right.
I mean, to make up the electric bill? I mean, like, it doesn't really make sense.
Right. Yeah. So
it's more work to change all the price lists.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think. trying to think of what I mean, man, dude. You're really good at. I personally got to sit down and listen to you talk for an hour and a half about rubber one day. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah, absolutely.
You went down. You went down some roads. I didn't think there were actually streets down these roads that you went down.
Well, you just send me a freaking invitation. I'll drop by you next time I'm in the U.S.
We'll talk about rubber.
Yeah, exactly. You can even bring your wife in. I can help her.
Yeah, right. That's great. So, do you? So moving forward, you're really driven to not only continue in the natural rubber department, but also try to improve. You're always continually trying to improve.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That's. I think it's in my DNA somehow.
Right.
I'm never completely satisfied with what I'm doing because I always know there's a way you can do this better and smarter.
Right.
And you know what? It's actually funny because I'm always trying to improve our production and the way we make things and how we pack them and how we ship them and stuff like that. And it all turned out to be that we actually been able to keep our price at the same level.
Right.
We haven't raised. I can't remember when we actually have raised prices ever.
Right.
Because we just keep improving production, making it smarter, making it faster.
Right.
Even
awesome.
during these times with shipping costs. For the last year and a half, shipping costs has been up like.
Oh, I can. Yes. Yeah.
Normally, when we ship a container to the U.S., we will pay about $3,000 for it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been up paying like $15,000 for container shipping.
I can't. Yeah, it's
insane.
Yeah, times are definitely tough, and I don't. And this is another thing, And I wanted to do this with you because I like I said, I got to sit down with you and spend a lot of time with you over a few years back about rubber, and I heard the things you were saying, and I don't really think people know everything there is going on behind the scenes when it comes to rubber and the manufacturing of it and how it all works. And I was like, I want to sit down, but I also I wanted to not necessarily I guess I want people to kind of get to know maybe the passion, because this is essentially a passion project for you. It wasn't.
Oh, absolutely.
This wasn't something that you were like, you know what, I'm going to start a rubber manufacturing company to make squeegee rubbers. You do other things in other industries that involve rubber. This was just like you saw something like, hey, man, maybe I can make an improvement here and maybe make some money along the way.
No, we actually started up by doing rubber-related products for design industry. Mm-hmm. We made kitchen products and stuff like that. We were actually... Have you ever seen those collapsible funnels you can get?
Yeah.
And collapsible strainers and stuff like that.
Really?
We made the first ones ever in the world.
That's cool.
The company we were doing it for actually was so stupid they didn't patent it.
Oh.
So the Chinese took it over times. But we actually developed that whole technology at that time. And we're doing rubber for dive industry. We make all the hazmat equipment for firefighters, people working nuclear plants, divers, military.
So like the rubber gaskets around the.
Yeah, when they need to have neck seals and wrist seals, especially if you go into cold water, so you have to be exposed to water for a long time.
Right.
That has to be completely waterproof, so you can. Survival suits for offshore people.
Right.
That's one of our biggest customers at all.
Okay.
Because they have to replace the suits every 2 years, just for security reasons.
That's
a lot of seals going on there.
Yeah, and on top of all that, I think that's cool for people in this industry to know that about Black Diamond Squeegee, about not necessarily about Black Diamond, but about Casper. Is that there are other irons in the fire? You know what I mean? And it's this for you. And like I said, talking to you, you were like, you liked, the first thing came out of your mouth is just like, I really like the community. I like the people involved, in this.
No, the reason the way we got into the window cleaning industry was actually that we had the office in Denmark, and one day there's a guy knocking at our front door and say, "Hey, I'm a window cleaner. I can see you made rubber products here." I mean, like, could you make this for me? And I just looked at it and said, like, what was that? I mean, like, I freaking even knew what it was.
Right. That's cool. So,
and he came in, he explained to me what was going on, what we're doing about it, and he said, I mean, I was asking, first question first. I mean, like, how much does it cost you to buy this rubber here? And he gave me the price, and I was just, put on the scale to figure out how much rubber is in there. Like, I think I can do that.
Right.
I mean, I think I can do that, actually. So we just tried to develop, little by little, make some test molds and make some rubber products. And the more and more I got into the industry, the more I started liking it. I mean, like, I even partnered up with Richie, because I think it's a cool industry. I really like it. It's interesting.
Right.
Also because in such a traditional industry, there's actually so much development going on too. I mean, like, people inventing new stuff. I mean, like, you think cleaning windows is just cleaning windows, right? No, I mean, like, if you think
but the guy on the glass that's trying to make his day just a little bit easier, you'd be surprised the innovation that comes from that. You'd be super surprised. I mean, the tip jar, you spoke of Richie, that one thing, just over the last, if you and I could look back over the last 3 or 4 years, how much that one product has changed the way, timeline of this industry, the same way that Xero,
I mean, you wouldn't have
Chris and Alex,
if it wasn't for the tip jar. I mean,
that's exactly true. And just the same way with Chris and Alex did with the carbon fiber trad poles. Just, I mean, look at that now. I mean, you have, it's just little things like that, it become a standard.
Go ahead.
You
have a lot of dedicated guys going on. I mean, like, one of the people I really like the most in the industry is like Phil Alexander. I mean, like, as crazy as it is, sometimes I'll tell that to his face too. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, this guy is so passionate about his poles. I mean, like, him and I, we actually talked for a long time about working together, and he was sending me information about the products. I mean, like, Phil, I don't understand what you're writing. You're writing numbers and stuff. Well, that was the wall thickness of these.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this dedication in these people. And I think I can reflect on myself because I have the same kind of dedication, I mean, like, interest in making products better all the time.
Yeah, and I that's the main reason why I wanted to do this, because it struck me when I actually met you in person and we sat down and we talked. Not only are you a very nice person, very, very approachable, but you were just the fact that once I started to talk to you, you were like, oh, well, this isn't really what all I do. I do this and this. I'm like, man, you do all that other stuff and you're doing this. And I was like, man, that's why I'm all behind 100% this guy, because you're doing this. You didn't really necessarily have to do it. You just like saw something. You're like, oh man, I could probably improve upon this. That's what I like, is people that see something like, man, I can make that better. Why not make that better?
I blame it all on Lego. I mean, like, I brought up with Lego, always been sitting there with these bricks and boom together. Oh my God, I can make an X-Wing fighter.
Yeah. The passion behind it, I saw, and again, I can't stress it over an hour talking about rubber. That day, I was like, man, this guy, you know what I mean? I'm all in with Casper, because this guy is something else. You know what I mean? He actually gets down to the nuts and bolts of it. You know what I mean? And when I started out using Black Diamond rubber, there was no soft rubber. You guys didn't make soft rubber. Like, we make medium. Everyone seems to like the medium, and then I, you and I started talking. I was like, man, do you guys make a soft? If you don't, you should. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. And then it seemed like the more the demand came up for soft rubber, you're like, you know what? We were talking about it. I think we're gonna release the soft rubber because there's a demand for it now. And I'm like, cool. And then you released the soft, the Black Diamond soft, and I was like, the round top and the T-top, I want all soft. I switched from medium to soft and have not looked back. It really performs. It performs.
But that's also, I mean, what I'm trying to, this is why I go to these conventions from time to time too myself, to be there on the floor with with the guys who's using the products, because the only way I can get input to change our product, I mean, I can from my engineering mind, sit down and say, oh, if you do this, it will be better.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's better for the window cleaner.
Right.
So I mean, we need that.
Your relationship, your relationship with the end user is very important. There's not very many.
If you didn't tell me, to make a softer rubber, I'm like,
what's the need? Why do I need
exactly.
to? Yeah. Why do I need to do that? Well, this is why you need to do that, because you don't know. You're not the guy cleaning the windows, and you're very adamant about that. Like, I don't clean windows. I need your guys'.
I try my home from time to time. It always looks like shit. I end up calling a window cleaner to fix it up after me.
I just like the fact. I just like the fact that you were honest about that. You were like, I don't clean windows. That's not what I do. But I need your guys' help to make the product better. And you were very open. And you do listen. You know what I mean? And clearly you have listened, because, like I said, the T-top soft, I'm a Sorbo channel guy. That's what I use in all my commercial work, is I use Sorbo channels. That's what I use. I use that and an Unger 0 degree. Those are the two things that I use commercially. And the soft rubber, it works really, really well. Now, I'm interested to see what this super soft, air quote, super soft blend will be like. I can't, if it's an improvement, it's going to be really hard for people to deny how good your rubber is. I already think it is anyways, and I think people maybe got a hold of some Black Diamond rubber in its infancy. Like you said, in its infancy, you wouldn't sell what you started out selling. And the fact that you are willing to admit that, and also have taken the steps to make it better, clearly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely some of our first products. I mean, I'm actually embarrassed we actually put it to the market. But I mean, we didn't know better that time, because we're not cleaners. So we had to get out in the hands of the window cleaners to make it better.
Right.
I mean, it's the only way. I mean, to do it. And I mean, with the super soft Sorbo rubber, because I've been really reluctant to do it, because I think, it might wear down too fast.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, Christian Stronger, from the guy who makes the Gladiator soap, he's been on me like, give me a sample, give me a sample.
I would really, I would really like to try it out too.
So we have done the blend, and we're actually molding it right now. So as soon as it's there, we'll send out the test.
That you're looking to do like a super soft, like T-top is what you're looking to do. Something even softer.
It's only going to be a T-top, because it's because how the Sorbo channel is made.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't think you'll gain anything from having a super soft rubber for a regular round top rubber.
No, I don't see any.
That wouldn't doesn't make any sense at all, because you have so much open rubber already. But the way the Sorbo channel holds the rubber, that requires a lot of flexibility in that tip, to go into the corners.
So you're doing this in regards to make a rubber specifically for that channel, because it's an industry standard. The Sorbo channel is an industry standard.
Yeah.
So I mean, it only makes sense to develop a product that, and I can really appreciate that, considering the fact that Sorbo rubber is not easy to find right now. So
you can't find it.
You can't find
Nothing
it.
has been made for a year, more or less, now.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. You know what I mean? I know that's a weird spot to be in, but if you see a demand, it's only right to fill it. You know what I mean? And I feel like there are other companies that are trying, there's other companies that make T-top rubbers, so it's not like you're the only one that's doing it. But I do like the fact that you're like, you know what, I'm going to try to make the very best T-top rubber I can make. I can appreciate that. You know what I mean? I don't see any harm in that at all.
The whole T-top rubber situation, it was more or less killing us late spring this year. Because we sell a lot of T-top rubber already,
right? But
suddenly we had 4 or 5 times the demand,
right,
that we normally had.
Did you meet the demand?
We have by now. Well, we even had to set up a new machine just to do that, because the demand was so high. And it's not just in the US, in Europe as well. I mean, like it was all over the world. We have just been spitting those out. Like
when you lose an industry pillar like that, like Sorbo not having any rubber, when you lose that, there's definitely going to be a demand, because there aren't very many window cleaners. I can say that. I think it's okay that I say this. There's not very many guys out there cleaning windows right now. I would say probably in the 90% range that don't have a Sorbo channel in their vehicle. I think that's fair. That's fair to say. I mean, so if all these guys have these channels, you can't get the rubber for them. Of course, the demand's going to go up.
Yeah, and the problem is the only thing you can get right now is a silicone rubber, which is like it's not. I mean, it's not as good.
Right. So you're the only one. So are you guys the only one that's making a natural replacement rubber for the Sorbo channel right now, or are there anyone else that do you know of? Because I know your product's 100% natural. It's a natural 100% rubber.
Natural. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like we test certain things. In general, I don't like to talk about what our competitors do and how they do it, because I mean, like it's their business, you know.
Yep, I understand.
It's just to be fair and square. I mean, like
I understand.
I guess we all try to do our best.
Right. Okay.
That way.
Okay. Okay.
Some just do it better than others. That's
okay.
That's the way it is.
Thank you for being modest about that.
Yeah.
You could have been.
I mean, like we make rubbers for so many companies now, and we gained 3 new companies this year, and we have 3 in the pipeline for next year too. Mm-hmm. So, and we're happy about that.
I mean, and every one of those have their own proprietary blend. And okay.
Oh yeah, an own label, every logo, packaging, and everything like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's how we do.
Awesome, man. That's great. That's good. That's great. Well, I'm excited to see where things go from here, because I know we've talked about a couple things we can't talk about on here. I know there's something else you're doing that's really awesome, and I can't wait for. I can't wait for that. Just as a little teaser, make people mad, make them comment on it. Why won't you tell us what you guys are doing?
But it's it's a little bit like Christmas, right? I mean, there's no fun in getting your Christmas package in December 1st.
Exactly. But I think it's I think we covered almost all the bases. We kind of where it started. I never knew a window cleaner approached you like, "Hey man, can you make this?" You know what I mean? I never knew that. That's cool. That's a cool little part of the story.
No, but that's also what I encourage other people to do. I mean, like. We have this kind of tendency in I think it's in society in general, that we like to, complain about stuff. We just put it online. Uh-huh. If you have an issue about our product, if you discover, I mean, like if there's anything wrong, I mean, like my phone is open. You can email me, whatever. Contact the company. We fix it.
WCR, same way. They honor. I mean, you have a no hassle guarantee.
We have 100%.
No hassle. Questions asked, no question asked. You've been like that from the very beginning too, haven't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's also the only way that we can make better products for you guys. I mean, like if you tell us what's wrong,
right?
If you just post it on, I mean, I have to admit, I don't go on Facebook every day. I don't read every freaking post on there, even though it's written on some of our ads and stuff like that. I don't read them all.
Right.
But I mean, when I catch one from time to time, I try to answer people, but it's way better to contact us directly, and we can even make something together, make something great.
Maybe make something even better. You never know.
Oh, yeah,
you never know. You never know. Now, I don't know. I mean, I could be talking out of school here, but you're not going to contact Unger and tell them that they need to change their rubber. They're not going to be like. They're going to be like, okay. Hey, I got an improvement question for you. No. No, because I am a loyal Unger user. I love the 0 degree handle, and I have been sending them emails for a very long time about why can't we make this quick release, and I get no response.
No, but I think that's also the difference, because the way we have structured our company, is that any question who comes in actually goes through my desk.
Right.
There's not a question going to the company I don't see if there's any request like that.
Right.
And I have never
neglected
never
not
skipped.
to. Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
That's why I appreciate it.
I think
man.
it's important too, because I think, if people spend time, on writing to me about an issue, it's fair that I actually do reply to it.
Right.
Instead of just handing it over to customer service and say, well, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. That's true. The best way, the only way things will improve, or the only way things get better is with criticism. And there's nothing wrong with a good critique of a product. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love it. It's the best thing. When people can tell me something is wrong with my product, it's the best, because then I can make it even better.
Right. And I think that's the Black Diamond. I think Black Diamond has proved that. So would you say 2002 or 3? 2001. 2001 you started, and here we are in 2022. Almost, over 20 years later. How crazy is that?
It goes freaking fast.
The product has definitely changed, and I think that's the main reason why I wanted to do this, is because I feel like there are certain people out there that have used the rubber in the past and didn't care for it, but I don't think that they realize that you have taken steps and you have taken the suggestions of the end user and improved the product.
I'll tell you a little funny one here.
Okay.
Because our company is based in Denmark, and that's where the window cleaner came to us, and that's where we start selling our products. Mm-hmm. And we have the worst reputation in the world in our home country, because those 20 years ago,
right?
People still remember. When I go to cleaners, you know what? it's just like saying a Kia is shit, because it might be shit the first year they came to the US, but today it's actually a pretty decent car,
right?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think people. I honestly don't think people. Maybe I don't know if people realize that you can improve things. Things can be improved. There are companies out there that want to make a better product. There are companies out there that just don't. Here's what you get, and I don't care what you think about it. You know what I mean? It's not like, going to the car lot and buying a Chevrolet pickup truck and be like, you know what? I don't like where this door handle is located. They're gonna be like, I don't care what you think. There's all these people buying them. We're gonna keep making them this way. In this industry, it's so finite and it's so tiny. If you don't pay attention to the end user, it could make or break you. And it's good for a company like yours, like Black Diamond Squeegee Rubber, to take that information that you get from the end user and apply it to your product to get not only the respect of the end user, but earn new customers and make a superior product. That's refreshing.
We run a complete database of all requests coming in, and every complaints coming in. So we store that information, and we look at it from time to time, and see, okay, how many complaints have we had about the hardness? How many complaints have we had about strikes from the rubber and so on? Mm-hmm. So that way we can address those issues. It's fair too to say, if one guy complains and say, you know what, when I use the rubber, the glass turns red afterwards, we'll register it. Mm-hmm. But unless we get 2 or 3 of them telling the glass turns red, we won't really react. There has to be some consistency in the thing, but as soon as we see that consistency, of course we react to it.
Right.
Yeah. We get a lot of funny stuff too from time to time.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I know that just from
it's just like window cleaners get complaints because it's been raining the day after and the soil sprays up on the glass. These things happen.
I get, and it's not as much, I can tell you, but just selling T-shirts on the internet is a problem apparently. Just doing that is a chore. So you'd be surprised at some of the comments I get. I'm just like, man, dude, I don't know what you want me to do. It's a T-shirt. I don't, it's third party printed. I just come up with the designs, and I don't know what to tell you about the blend of the fabric. I I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe order a larger size next time. I don't, But I'm.
No, but one thing with, I mean, like with I think maybe a lot of people don't think about is that, different channels you use with the rubber, it all varies. And a big part of our test right now is actually we're testing different types of channels, and we're actually even modifying channels ourselves at the moment to figure out a little bit like you explained about the, when you if you close up on how the rubber glides on the glass, we have equipment for that. But the amount of water you can drag off the glass, depending on the channel, varies a lot.
Oh yeah.
Certain channels are way better at taking off the water than others are, and some with modifications actually can do it even better.
Right. I think
now,
there's.
We've been looking into the whole issue about getting wet hands. So if there's a way that we can actually make sure that the water actually goes where we want it to go on a channel, together with the rubber, that's a big thing because the more
I know
the more they dry out.
Yeah, you and I have had plenty of conversations, like a completely different product, about, it's like, man, if this was in a different spot, the water wouldn't be running down the pole, you know what I mean? And it's really irritating to me, you know what I mean? And you were like, and then
but those are things we constantly look at. I mean,
and that's I think that's a very valid thing to look at, to be quite honest with you. The way the water runs on the body of a channel yeah.
I mean, if you can imagine a channel with a gutter underneath, so to collect the water. I mean,
right.
Just a little difficult. I will say we are this close to actually to solve that whole issue.
That's cool.
The latest version we saw, I mean, it shows really progress.
That's
really
good.
Progress.
I see, man. That's cool, man. That's cool.
And it's not even rubber. It's just because it's connected to the rubber, so it makes it interesting.
Yeah. And I think that, man, and that's how shit gets done. Yeah. To be quite honest, with you, that's how shit gets done.
Yeah, but we're never going to make our own tools or anything like that. But we might hand it over to somebody else to do that because if we see something, I mean, this thing with a squeegee channel will actually do a lot of benefit. I mean, why not pass it on to whoever is best equipped for that?
Right. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Well, I can tell you this. I really appreciate you taking some time out and sitting down and talking with me about this.
It's a pleasure.
I'll do my best to edit this and make this look like you're the smartest man in the world. I'm kidding. I'm gonna cut like the first 30-40 minutes of our conversation off the front of us because we talked about everything but squeegee rubber, and then I'll just do the squeegee rubber part of it. Because people may not know. I mean, I consider you one of my industry friends, and we speak outside of squeegee rubber. We talk about this and that all the time. You know what I mean? So, of course, we're going to get on Skype and we're going to talk about everything but what we want to talk about. Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? So, how's your life? My back hurts. We spent 20 minutes on my on my back hurting and getting old. But I think this will go a long way with I think with people getting to know you and the product this will go a long way for that, I think.
I think it's about getting that face connection to, feel like it's a real person behind it.
Right, a real person that's behind it that actually has some passion about what they're doing. You know what I mean? And the commitment to I guess a commitment to excellence, just making sure that you're providing the best product you possibly can provide. I think that's paramount that people know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate it a lot.
No problem.
Appreciate it a lot, Gigi.
No problem.